Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. As always, every day, every episode, we have Kelly Cook. How are you doing today?
Doing great. A double salute today. I'm fired up. This is good. This is a great series, by the way, we're doing. So I'm ready to go to the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of started with, building out your admin staff, getting some agents on board, and the lead generation, passing those out to, your best people. But today we need to talk about kind of going a little bit further with building up the sales team, really. I mean, we need to talk about your training, your accountability systems, and your recruiting systems as well, because those agents aren't all just going to magically pop into your office and want a job, right? So you have to have some sort of, maybe, but you have to have some sort of system in place for getting those top agents and for, consistently making sure that they're doing the best for their team and for themselves, right?
That's right. That's right. And what's the word that you said there a couple of times, I think, was system, right?
If you listen to our podcast, that is a word that you will hear a lot, along with sports references, but systems is up there probably as number one, because Kelly loves systems. And you have to have them, right? That's how you're successful.
You do. You almost could rename the podcast as Real Estate System Podcast, right? That's not as cool maybe, but I don't know. But they are very important. You're right, Elizabeth. So the first thing, okay, with the systems, the next module I kind of talk about here when you want to scale your real estate team would be establishing those training, accountability, and recruiting systems. Now, the first thing that a lot of people don't do when they start off on this is they don't have a meeting rhythm, okay? So, yeah, you want to have a meeting rhythm throughout your team. I don't care if it's just you and one other person, right? So you want to have a one time a week where you all come together as a team, right, for a system or for a meeting or a training, obviously. But most importantly, you want to have a 20 to 30-minute one-on-one with each individual member of your team weekly, all right? Everybody needs accountability, right? There's this old saying that talent wants accountability. So there's a little nugget right there too. If you hire somebody and they push back on a one-on-one weekly meeting because you're going to help coach them, that's the wrong person right there, because that person really truly does not want to get better at their job and possibly even at life, at least that given time in their life, right? So that's a little nugget right there that they fight you on that. You probably have the wrong person. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing regarding that is there's a metric that we always like to use that's very, very simple when it comes to identifying someone as talent, and if they're the right fit, and that is GWC, okay? This comes from, not myself, it comes from a well-known author in the business development world and leadership world, and it's get it, want it, and the capacity to do it, okay? Gino Wickman's his name. He came up with this. I think it's brilliant, right? It's a real simple metric to take really quick at look at somebody and say, are they in the right seat for this position? G is get it. Do they get it? Do they get what they're supposed to be doing, right? Or what the goal is, what they're moving towards. W is want it. Do they really want it? Or are they just kind of like going through the motions, right? And C is the capacity to do it, okay? There are a lot of people who get it and they want it, but they might not have the talent level for that specific job to get it done, whatever the goal is, right? So that's a quick measurement too regarding this step as well, evaluating your talent, okay? The people that are on your team you're surrounding yourself with, okay? The next one is now that you have lead generation, leads coming in from the lead generation system that we talked about last podcast and last step, you have to track it, okay? You have to have some sort of lead tracking mechanism or spreadsheet or system, software, something, right? Very, very important, because you have to know what's performing the best. You have to know who is performing the best. And then you can find out who is performing the best at which lead source, okay? A lead type. Then you start getting really good. Now you can really start taking that money and really zeroing in on where you need to spend it and who you should spend it on, right? That's very, because not everybody's created equal, unfortunately. Under God, we all are. Don't hear me wrong. But in terms of, you know,
But in real estate selling.
in real estate, yeah, their motivation, it's all different. It's all different. Okay. So please understand we're talking about real estate here, right? Okay. Then you need to, when you are, now you're tracking your leads and you're having a one-on-one with one-on-one cadence or rhythm with your agents or your staff. You need to, you know, I call it planting my flag. You need to plant your flag in the ground on 2, maybe 3 metrics. Now, are there more metrics that you should track? Absolutely, right? Like, you know, it's coming up on business development time here, right? Because we're almost to October for the following year. We're into business development with all of our team members, okay? And business plan for them, right? For 2021. Well, there are 2 out of the 8 metrics that we track. There are 2 that we plant our flag in the ground on, and that is appointments held and listings converted. They could be buyer listings too, right? But clients that agree to work with you, right? They sign a document saying, I want to work with you to get my job done, right? Those 2 things are the ones that we plant our flag in the ground, and we watch extremely close. We go over every single week, and we know exactly what numbers they need to be hitting on a weekly basis in order to stay on track for their income goal at the end of the year, okay? And then we chuck it down quarterly, which is awesome too. So they really know where they are on a quarter and how they can stay quarterly on track. Because, you know, let's be honest. Sometimes when you go over a year goal, that's a big number, big goals. If you can chunk it down quarterly, then you know, this is research on this too. The human brain can stay engaged for up to 90 days specifically towards a goal. Get past that, it's tough, right? So those are a few things. I'll say a few more things about this, okay? Jump in anytime if you have any questions to clarify anything, Elizabeth. But you also want to, like we talked about, conduct that yearly business plan session, right? And in our opinion, you do it in October. You do it early October, the 1st and 2nd week in October. What we do is we start that first week of October where we lay out the GPS, is what we call it, goals, priorities, strategies. And it's a business plan, 1-page business plan. And we help get them started walking them through what they think their goal should be for the following year. And it has to be realistic, okay?
It's reflective of what they've been tracking the previous year, right? So, I mean, that's when you look at your previous, what you have done, and okay, well, where can I take this higher, right?
Right, exactly. Because here's the thing, a plan is not a goal, right? And a plan can't be a plan unless it's executable, okay? And so a lot of people set goals, but they have no plan on how to get there. And, you know, I think Keith Cunningham in the book, The Road Less Stupid, says something to the fact of, you know, the goal has to be attainable. The goal has to be attainable.
Smart goals.
Yes, smart goals has to be attainable. A plan that's not attainable, it's not realistic, is what he calls stupid, right? So that's something we walk. And then the 2nd week we meet with them in October. Then after they filled it out the whole week and thought about it, right? Because it's very, very important. Then we go over it, we shoot holes in it, and we finalize it, right? So that they're ready to roll, knowing what their plan is for 2021. And why is that important to do in October? Because the sales cycle, real estate, is about 90 days from the time you meet a lead in most cases, right? Or someone who's, you know, semi-warm to hot, right? It's about 90 days. So that's why. And then I was got 2 more things on this module and this step of, you know, establishing your training, accountability, and recruiting systems. And that's, you want to conduct, like we talked about, not just a sales meeting or a group meeting once a month, but you want to conduct also a training meeting once a month, right? You pick a topic and you just dive deep on it we do an hour and a half, at least an hour, to make sure everyone is getting, you know, nuggets out of this and wisdom and nuts and bolts they can actually implement in their business, right? It could be, and guys, there are so many topics in real estate, right? I mean, how to do expired. Yeah. What this dialogue training? How do you say it for this, and that? What do you do to hold an open house? How do you door knock? I mean, there's so many things, right? How do you do social media for real estate on a consistent basis? What do you do? What's your plan? Blah, 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 blah. And the list goes on and on. Okay. And then last but not least, you want to, you know, establish a goal with agents on your team. I think it's very important that you establish a goal where you incentivize agents on your team or staff to bring and encourage other agents in the marketplace to come onto your team. Okay. And the perfect way to do this is, you know, for us, perfect way to do this is this is a whole podcast in and of itself. But the perfect way for us to do this is to identify the agents out there who, you know, aren't closing any more transactions than they did the year before or the year before that,
Not
right?
growing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, there's a reason they're stuck. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's their mentality, maybe it's the fact they have no support. Who knows, right? But those are the perfect people to say, hey, why don't you just come to one of our team meetings and check it out? Why don't you come talk to so-and-so, Kelly or whoever, and let's just see if it might be a good fit. There's no harm, right? Because at the end of the day, we got to get out of the mindset as real estate community people that it's all about what I make per check, per closing, right? You got to get out of that mindset, right? It's what it's about is what you make at the end of the year. That's what it's about. And if you're with the right team,
you can do it. And it's interesting because you bring that up, and real estate isn't really like, here's your yearly salary, here's what you're going to make. It's not, if you do well, then maybe you'll get a yearly raise or whatever it is. It is, you do look at it per check because it varies, but you have to look so it's easy to see that money coming in and think, okay, and think paycheck to paycheck, but really, you got to take a step back and look, okay, what do I want to earn overall for the year and like that. So that is an interesting that difference between some regular jobs, I guess, is you don't have this certain yearly salary. It is paycheck to paycheck, but you still got to look at that big picture. End of the year, what's that goal look like? Not what's your next paycheck goal look like, right?
That's right. That's right. And even a lot of agents, they go off that, and then they if they do look at the yearly, they go, well, the yearly I make whatever, and it's what their 1099 said. And it's like, okay, well, hold on. Did you have you're by yourself or whatever? So did you have any expenses? Well, yeah, those are called write-offs. Yeah, they're called write-offs, but they're also expenses. So what did your AGI say at the bottom of your 1040 on your tax return? And then the conversation gets real quiet real quick, right? Because they're not understanding that, they may have realized that, but then by the time they write everything off because they had expenses, it was actually a lot less than what they thought it was that actually stayed in their bank account. Yeah, and the whole point of the team is, the agent's net check is their net income because they don't need to have any expenses. It's paid for by the team.
It's already done.
There you go.
On a bigger scale.
Yep.
Well, we didn't mean to turn this into why you should join a team, but I mean.
No. It's just food for thought, right?
But I mean, I guess it just kind of built one there.
But if you're building one, you need to have that in mind, that you need to have those conversations with other agents out there that are maybe struggling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking for more.
Well, we will be back next week with more on building a team. It's something we've talked about this before, but it's something that Kelly's really passionate about. Obviously, he has his own team and knows a lot about it. So I'm sure there will be more systems to come. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, if you have any questions about this, please leave us a comment, reach out to us specifically. We will make sure that we answer those. If not, the next podcast, as soon as this series is over, we'll be getting to those. And if you want to reach out to Kelly directly and have that conversation, maybe you want to leave your brokerage. Maybe you're looking at your paycheck, or you just have questions about building your own team. You can always reach out to him. Where can they reach you, Kelly? Yeah,
thanks, Elizabeth. Absolutely. Either way, guys, I'm good with it. I just love giving back, and it's awesome. It's very, very self-fulfilling. But anyways, the number is 480-227-2028, and Kelly at kellycookhomes.com.
Smash the like button and subscribe.
Yes, thank you, guys.
All right, see ya.
Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.